It is Sunday, January 9th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Sunday puzzle today, and apparently I was so excited to get to this puzzle that I apparently absent-mindedly clicked right on into I clicked the start button immediately upon loading the page as I was setting up my stream, so I'm already at 2 minutes, 18 seconds, so won't be speed solving this puzzle today, at least not according to the official timer. Anyway, there are some circled cells in the grid. Maybe that's why I was so excited. I do always enjoy those. But first, before we move on to anything else, let me thank a few people. This edition of the Daily Solve is brought to you by Victoria Rojishka, Patrick Carthy, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster. So thank you so much to the three of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign. And if you'd like to help directly support this channel in that same way, you can do so at the Patreon campaign, patreon.com/dailysolve. There's a link in the description field underneath each video. And there you can get access to the whole wealth of bonus video solves I've done, as well as access to the additional Discord chat server channel. And at the benefactor level, an exclusive mug. There have been quite a few videos going up, actually, on the Patreon feed recently. I forgot to mention this yesterday, but the January New York Times bonus puzzle, this month's bonus puzzle went up. And also yesterday, I solved the most recent New York Times acrostic puzzle. I've not yet processed the video, so it's not up on the feed yet, but it will be soon. So quite a few bonus videos this month already. And actually, speaking of bonus videos, this isn't for the Patreon specifically, but last night I streamed a game called Babel Royale. It was my first time streaming to this channel. It's a sort of Scrabble-inspired, competitive, real-time, so non-turn-based multiplayer game. And the video isn't publicly on the channel because I wanted to trim off some dead time at the beginning, but I'll put that up soon. And it was a lot of fun, so I'd like to do that again soon. I'll put up a notice on the channel if I determine a time to do that next. And thanks to everybody who joined me. It was very fun to interact with people live while playing that game. But now let's move on to some clues from yesterday's puzzle. We had two comments about Pascal's triangle, the mathematical concept that was referenced in the first clue of yesterday's puzzle, the one across clue. Joseph George Blaze explains Pascal's triangle is the pattern you get by starting with a 1 and generating subsequent rows by adding the two numbers above each cell, assuming a 0 for an empty space. It's a little hard to describe, but easy to understand when you see it. And indeed, the commenter Borders posted a comment in which this person did represent Pascal's triangle visually in a YouTube comment, so you can head there for that explanation, or Google it yourself, of course. And Kathy Swope explains that a hominid is a primate of the family Hominidae that includes humans and their fossil ancestors, and also, in some systems, at least some of the great apes. So I was struggling to remember particularly what defines a hominid yesterday. I remembered it was certainly a subset of bipeds. I was correct about that, but I couldn't get much further. So thanks, Kathy, as always, for that clarification. And I think we can move on to today's puzzle. Of course, this is a Sunday puzzle. So a large themed grid, and of course we can see it's themed due to those tantalizing circled cells that I love. This was constructed by Timothy Paulin, experienced New York Times crossword constructor, several dozen puzzles over a number of years, and edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So I suppose I will resume rather than start my grid today. And let's get going. All right, disseminated. Could be sent. You disseminated information. You sent it out. I'm not really sure if that's the closest match. Here we have a JPEG alternative. Could be the file format GIF, which stands for Graphical Interchange Format, I think. Many people prefer to pronounce it GIF. That's fine. I don't have a strong opinion. GIF is just how I say it. This looks like I've moved on to me. So let's put that in. And here we have start in place. So that contracted ing at the end down to in apostrophe makes me wonder if this has the same thing going on. And then what is this? Calming words. And what do we have here? Kind of writing. I keep wanting to think this is cursive because of the V here, but that's not enough letters. Well, let's keep looking. Quick-witted. Forbidden fruit is the sweetest, e.g. It could be an adage, maybe. You could say it's an adage. It's sort of a repeated saying communicating some kind of bit of wisdom or truth or that sort of thing. Attorneys organization. Was it the American Bar Association? ABA, is that what that is, maybe? And a mineral used as a flame retardant. Oh, I'm not sure. Boron or something, maybe? Sorrow. Could be dolor. And thank you in Tokyo, arigato. So maybe this is boron. A stovetop device. Why do I not see what that is? That's very annoying. Breadths. I'm not sure. And what do we have here? Carmen McRae or Anita O'Day, notably. Are they singers? Oh, and it's an or. I should keep that in mind. And here we have a horrible boss, say. I could be an ogre, metaphorically. My boss is a real ogre, you could say. Does that help? Here, oh, breadth is extense. There we go. Okay, this was a case where I was trying to think of something along those lines, and I just couldn't get there. And I was thinking entires, as in the entire thing, which is obviously absurd. So not boron, but borax, perhaps. And a gas ring, a stovetop device. There we go. That looks right. What's going up in Chicago? Oh, maybe an L train, an elevated train line. Chicago's known for the L. And a word in some cocktail names. I don't know. I'm sure this will be screamingly obvious when I see it or have a few more crosses. What about this? Non-binary possessive could be there. So non-gender specific. And then here we have makes clearer in a way, could be defogs. And so this in a way, it means that this isn't a direct synonym. Defogs doesn't strictly mean makes clearer, but in a way, to defog something is to make it clearer. Essentially, that's what that's saying. As in I don't know, a window or something. Word in some cocktail names. Why can't I see this? That's very annoying. Boy, that's frustrating. Morse morsel. Morse code. What is it? Dit and da are the two words, the two terms for the Morse code components. And lost deposits as a bank. So there's a question mark here, and that indicates that there's some sort of wordplay going on. And in this case, I think what this is doing is it's cluing us that this shouldn't. So the most obvious way to read this would be about monetary deposits in a bank, a financial institution. But I think the question mark is cluing us in that this means perhaps a riverbank losing deposits of earth, silt, or what have you. So eroded. The bank has been eroded. Soil deposits have been eroded away. Tying words. And here again, question marks, so some sort of pun going on. And sometimes words in a clue means a single word pluralized. In other words, you could have something like ums if it was hesitant words, and that means you're saying But in this case, I believe it means two separate words. So I do. Words that will tie you together. And that's where the pun comes in here. Oh, colada, pina colada. Okay. Words in some cocktail names. So what other cocktails have colada in the name? Are those simply pina colada variants, or are there other separate cocktails? I'm not sure. What about this? Oh, vocalist. Jazz vocalist. Carmen McRae or Anita O'Day, notably. Surely jazz vocalist. Okay, that's what I thought, but I didn't think of the word vocalist for some reason. So I was trying to think of singer or maybe a vocal range. I don't know. Anyway, there we have it. Add or show follower. Add or show follower. I'm not sure. Radio frequency measure. Kilohertz? I think that's how you'd measure radio frequency, right? Hardly a lover of hot wings. And this is some sort of pun. Hardly a lover of hot wings. Of hot wings. I'm not sure. And what is this? Quick-witted. So this is kilohertz. Could it be megahertz, possibly? Quick-witted. Not what I am at the moment. What about this? Blank P. Morton, Benjamin Harrison's vice president. I'm actually not familiar with this vice president, but Levi looks like the most likely fill. So does that help with quick-witted? I'm almost inclined to remove kilohertz there because I'm worried it's misguiding me. Quick-witted. Agile, but that's not enough letters. Boy, I feel particularly silly not getting the answer to quick-witted quickly. That's not the best. Hurting more. An ad or show follower. There's no way jazz is incorrect, is there? Can't imagine. No, this radio frequency measure, it must be something with hertz. It just has to be. Hurting more. Boy, I'm sorry. This feel very silly not getting more of these answers. Sound in the Serengeti. I don't know, a roar maybe? I'm not really sure. Baseball's Master Melvin. Let's see. If this were roar, what does that give us here? Hardly a lover of hot wings. Could end with ER. And then what is this? Endpoint of a Shinto pilgrimage. Would it be a shrine? Doesn't really fit with the E if that were the case. Spade with a short handle. Spade with a short... Oh, Sam Spade. The detective, the fictional detective, perhaps, and a short handle, meaning Sam, it being literally a short name. Sam is a short handle. So what about this? Hardly a lover of hot wings. There's something about the pun here that I am fundamentally not seeing. That's quite frustrating. Actress blank Pinkett Smith. Jada Pinkett Smith, I recognize. Oops, what am I doing? Oh, interesting. This has a J in it as well. Oh, Mount Fuji. What is this? Oh, I haven't looked at this yet. Holy city near Baghdad. Najaf? I might be saying that incorrectly. Is that right? Oh, quick-witted is nimble. Again, very much what I wasn't here. And indeed, radio frequency measures not kilohertz, but megahertz. There we go. And hurting more is achier. Okay, it all comes together. And hardly a lover. This is actually a brilliant clue, but I'm not surprised I didn't get it. Hardly a lover of hot wings is Icarus, who, of course, flew too close to the sun, and therefore his wax fastened wings were melted away. Okay, very clever clue, but boy, that really stumped me. Okay, Najaf. I'm sure I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly. I'm sorry if so. Baseball's Master Melvin. This looks like it'll be ought if roar is correct, which I'm now inclined to believe it is after these additional bits of fill. A munchkin could be a tot. Calming words. Oh, fear not. There we go. Fear not. And westernmost school in Conference USA. Utah, perhaps, or maybe not, because the SCH, the contraction of school, leads me to suspect maybe this itself will be abbreviated or contracted. You could argue that Utah would be an example of that if it were short for Utah State or the University of Utah, but I suspect that's not the case. Anyway, it might be. We'll have to see. Starting place, so it doesn't end with N. Oh, get-go, perhaps. That would be, I think, sort of appropriately slangy and colloquial to fit with start and place. So I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee here. Okay, kind of writing. Aromatic herbal drink. Well, we have tea, so that Mint? No. What kind of tea? Spice tea, aromatic herbal drink. Don't know. It feels as though there are probably a few teas that could fit there. Sled dogs, e.g., a team, perhaps a team of sled dogs. And the e.g., so for example, again, a sled dogs itself isn't a synonym of team. It's an example of a team of sled dogs. Disorganized could be ragtag. Artist, no. Oh, sorry. I just realized. Sorry. So what an astonishing coincidence. Look at this. I got jazz vocalist. I filled these circles. Didn't really know what to make of it yet. First, I think the first circled cell I got in this second one contained within Mount Fuji was a J. So then I said, there must be something dealing with J. And my first thought was it will be an anagram of jazz. But then my immediate thought, a microsecond after that, was nothing is an anagram of jazz. We're not going to be able to use the letters J. We're not going to be able to use these letters and create another word. That's ludicrous. And so I filled it in, Mount Fuji, and then I didn't think again about it at all. And now I just glanced back at it and realized these are varieties of apples. I'm fairly confident. So I bet this is going to be gala. What do you think the chances are? This third one in 4 letters ending with an A is gala. Yes, a gala is a fête, a gala affair, I suppose. A fête, a big bash, a party. There we go. So I completely glossed over that. Okay, what is this? I mean, you could say. And 2-part clue here, with 59 across, flag bearers for short. With 59 across, flag bearers for short. And there is a question mark, so it is some sort of pun. Flag bearers for short. I'm not sure. And then what is this? Exit. Off. Exit. Off-ramp? Maybe an exit from a highway? Could that be the case? NF flag bearers. NFL refs, maybe? Referees for the National Football League? And here we have, you might take a lift to one. I see. A flat. Okay, this is I see. This is referencing slang from Britain, where I am. You would take a lift, which in American English would be an elevator, to a flat, which in American English would be an apartment. So there we have it. That was fairly subtle. And chair, usually when they do this, they have something that's a bit more obvious, like, I don't know, Lou, or they'll have a British place name or something like that. Anyway, chaired could be ran, as in chaired a meeting, ran a meeting. Julie, who played Catwoman on old TV. Julie Newmar. And here I am obliged to include my customary evangelism of the 1960s Batman television series. If you've not seen that since you were a child, or I don't know, if you've never seen it and have internalized it, I think as the prevailing wisdom, at least was for many years, that it was a sort of naive and fuddy and silly bit of nonsense. It's really worth checking it out again, because it's actually an incredibly sharply written and very funny and extremely self-aware, that's the thing, bit of television. It's incredible. It's very knowing. It's very winking. It knows what it's doing. The Adam West Batman series from the 1960s is what I'm referring to. It's incredibly well designed. It has absolutely gorgeous production design that is also very funny and self-aware. And it's I don't know. It's quite. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I've seen many episodes of it. Warner Brothers released a 4K restoration of it on Blu-ray, and it was shot on film. So unlike many later television programs, which eventually were shot on video, it looks absolutely gorgeous now that they've cleaned it up. It's very high resolution because it was shot on film, and it's just beautiful. And it was actually co-created by Lorenzo Semple Jr., who was a absolutely great screenwriter who wrote, I want to say 3 Days of the Condor. He wrote at least one of the Alan J. Pakula paranoid conspiracy thrillers. But anyway, he also co-created the Batman TV show, and it's just brilliant. It's really worth checking out if you've discounted it in your brain as something that isn't worth your time. Anyway, Julie Newmar was in that. Okay, birthplace of 5 U.S. presidents with the. Sorry for that incredibly long digression there. Birthplace of 5 U.S. presidents with the state. It'll be the something state. If I was better acquainted with apple varieties, I would probably be able to slam this in instantly. But I can't off the top of my head. Nickname for Virginia. Gina? Is Gina a nickname of Virginia? Why have I never noticed that before? Here we have declare, could be aver, to declare an opinion, to aver it, to state it forcefully. Is beaten by, could be loses to. In blank fertilization. Vivo? All-in-one purchase from a smoke shop. I'm going to need some crosses here. Many moons. Oh, maybe this isn't Gina, but Gigi. That actually looks maybe more plausible. Many moons could be ages. That looks reasonable. So the birthplace of 5 presidents. Boy, I don't know. What about this down? Personal bearing. It could be your mean. Oh, yes, actually, it probably is, because then this would be Empire State, New York State. Okay. Probably should have gotten that more quickly, but I didn't. What can you do? What about this? Just roll with it. A pin, a rolling pin. Here's another. We had one of these yesterday, the exclamation point clues. These, the exclamation point generally indicates that the clue is going to be, it's sort of a statement about the answer rather than a definition of the answer. So in this case, it's saying just roll with it. In other words, the answer to the clue is something you use to roll. In this case, a pin, a rolling pin, or at least pin may or may not be the correct answer, but it would work for that reason if it is the correct answer. I don't know if it is. All-in-one purchase from a smoke shop. And what is this? Got out fast. Maybe it isn't pin. Here we have Mexican business magnate who was once the world's richest person. Slim. Oh boy, I know who this person is. What is their name? Their first name is definitely Slim. I do remember that. Or at least I'm pretty sure. I'm quite confident. Strong pan down could be a slam. Maybe a pan is in a negative review of a film or something. And here, a hard thing to do. And here we have pack in, could be tamp in. And hard thing to do is time, hard time. Okay. So there, again, we have that question mark indicating a pun or wordplay. And in this case, it's referring to a prison sentence. Start of some conventional wisdom. Oh boy, I wish I knew more apple varieties. I don't even know that I'm familiar with Empire apples, actually. I hope this is apples. It must be. Jazz, Fuji, and Gala. Those are certainly all apples. Let's keep looking around elsewhere. Eliminates, mob style. Wax. And what am I doing? German title could be Herr, as in Mr. in German. Fracasses, up close combats. Melees could be. And puzzle out could be suss out. And a German title, that's nice. So we have Frau. So the female equivalent of the male Herr. Nice little echo near one another. Tom Petty hit with the opening line, she's a good girl, loves her mama. That's a free fallin'. Yes, free fallin' without the G. Couldn't remember if it was with or without the G. So we're missing it in the way that Startin Place is up in the top of the grid. Unforgettable, unstoppable sort. A force of nature. There we go. and they're not to be trusted. Metaphorically, snakes are often said not to be trusted. And many, many moons is, eons. That's funny because just two clues earlier, we had many moons. And then here we have, from many moons to many, many, many moons. Okay, where else should we look? Here we have just roll with it, right? That was what I thought might be pin, but now I'm not as confident is. Here we have blank out a victory. Could be eke out a victory. Does that give us anything? All-in-one purchase from a smoke shot. Oh, a vape kit, perhaps. So this is indeed in vivo fertilization as opposed to in vitro fertilization, and then a vape kit. And just roll with it. Okay, so it certainly wasn't pin. But it's a die. So my explanation about how the exclamation point works holds. In other words, this is saying just roll with it. This is something you use to roll a die. You roll a die. So that's fine. And got out fast. Well, ending with ed makes sense. What else do we have here? Mushroom in miso soup. Enoki mushrooms, I believe. Japanese soup mushroom. And blank funny. Too funny, you could say. And comprehension could be ken. That's beyond my ken. Beyond my comprehension. Oh. Has this shaded vertical strip in here the entire time? How have I not noticed this? Who was famously hit over the head with inspiration? It was Newton, Sir Isaac Newton. And indeed, he was hit on the head. I don't know. Is that apocryphal? I'm not sure. But anyway, famously, according to legend, he was hit over the head with an apple, which inspired him to formulate the theory of gravity. And indeed, above Newton's head, we have 5 varieties of apple. So this was particularly disastrous version of this story for Newton, as he seemed to be repeatedly battered by some kind of mega apple tree, or perhaps he ran through an orchard of 5 varieties of apples pelting him nonstop. Anyway, I still don't know what this one is. Start of some conventional wisdom. Why do I not see what this is? Income in some? Listen to me? No. Nicholas who directed The Man Who Fell to Earth. Nicholas Roeg. Also directed, there's a great movie he directed with Donald Sutherland that I saw a couple years ago that I thought was incredible. Now I don't remember what it was. It was based on a short story. I'm going to have to remember that. Anyway. Or based on a novelette, maybe. Eureka. I get it? Do I have Nicholas Roeg wrong? I don't think so. Boy, I'm really drawing a blank here. I'll have to come back to it. Sorry about that. Sorry. Don't Look Now. I just popped it in my mind. Don't Look Now is the Nicholas Roeg film I was thinking of. It's a great movie. Okay. And now I want to remember who it. Daphne du Maurier, sorry, wrote the short story on which the film was based. Don't Look Now. Anyway, I'm going to move on now. I apologize. Carlos Slim. Yes, sorry. This is why I couldn't remember the name of this person. It's because I was mistaking their given name for their surname. It's not Slim was not the Mexican business magnate's given name. Is his surname. His given name is Carlos Slim. There we go. All right. That took me ages, but now that I see it, it seems obvious, and I'm frustrated I didn't get it earlier. Anyway, lab where the Higgs boson particle was discovered. CERN. I don't remember what CERN stands for, but that's the laboratory with that enormous particle accelerator that looks like a set from a James Bond film or something. It's absolutely bonkers. Okay, fab could be terrific, fabulous. Squealed, tattled? Yeah. Narked, squealed, tattled. Domain of Mars, war, god of war, equivalent of Ares, the Roman equivalent of Ares. Tech release of 2006. What came out in 2006, technology-wise? I'm not sure. Never mind. I am sure. It's our new bit of Crosswordese. I would say this is really becoming Crosswordese now. The Nintendo Wii, the video game console, the Nintendo Wii, it has showed up, I would say, at least 3 times in the past month. So there we go. Oh, Eureka is I get it now. Ah, I get it now. Eureka is I get it now. There we have it. I was trying to think of something closer to the traditional translation of Eureka, which I think is I've found it. But anyway, I get it now is fair enough. Words before relax or remember. Time to doesn't fit. What is this? Court order. Oh, a writ. Court order, a writ, a decree. So words before relax or remember. Try to relax. Try to remember. There we have it. Okay. I get it now. I'm not going to say that after every single clue. That would be infuriating. Defiant refusal. Could it possibly be no, no, no? Gag line. Gag line. So there's a question mark. I'm actually not sure. See, sometimes the problem with the pun clues is I don't know which meaning is meant to be the obvious meaning. I'm not sure if this is meant to mean gag as in you're choking, or gag as in you're gagging somebody else, or it's a gag as in a joke. And even within joke, there are a few different ways to interpret what a gag is. I'm actually, so I don't know which one this is, actually. Anyway, Old blank, London Theatre. The Old Vic is a London theatre. I mean, if that were Old Vic, it could be heck no. Saw a production of A Christmas Carol at the Old Vic last month with Stephen Mangan. He was very good. Okay, lingerie fabric. Oh, this will be obvious when I see it, but it isn't at the moment. Gag line. Oh, ack, maybe? Is this referring to physically gagging on something? And what is this? Oh, scientific contribution from 98 down, discovered in a manner suggested by this puzzle's theme. Oh, gravity. Oh, there we go. So this is sort of a fun theme in that it's sort of telling a story in the sense that when I saw these, I thought it was just going to be apple varieties and that would be the entire theme. And often you get a theme that is simply a collection of subject matter, and that's the theme at the end. But in this case, we got the apples, and that pointed us towards Newton, who's hit on the head with the apple, and then that in turn crosses with the resultant theory, at least according to legend. Scientific contribution from Newton. Law of gravity. Ah, there we have it. Okay. And hemlock relative. A fir, perhaps? Is fir? Oh, yeah, maybe, because more mirthful might end with ER because it's more of something. More mirthful. Gayer, perhaps. And here we have inventory, could be log. One living in the real world. So this is a pun around currency. It could be an Omani, someone from Oman who uses that currency. I feel as though I am layering speculation upon speculation here, though. I really want to get some more vertical crosses to confirm these things. Airport route, blank way. I mean, way looks right. Airway or what? Airport route. Skyway or jetway or what? Walkway? It seems vague to be specific to an airport, doesn't it? My Cousin Vinny setting. I think I saw that movie decades ago. Alabama, maybe? I don't actually remember that, but that's plausible. Kinda could be a bit. Inventory. Why do I not see what that is? That's quite frustrating. Akin to could be a la. So, in the style of a la. Akin to. And here we have taxiway, airport route. Oh, does that mean, is a taxiway? I'm actually not familiar with this term. If this is the answer, I wonder if it refers to the route the aircraft itself takes when taxiing along the apron. And a post-default event. Post-default. So if you default on a loan, perhaps. A tax lien, maybe, or something? No. Oh, a pit is a stone, as in a pit of a fruit. Stone fruit has a pit. A tax... Oh, inventory catalog, of course. Means of a quick recharge, a catnap. Here we go. Okay, so I think this area looks fairly safe. I was a bit skeptical about some of it, but I think it's all coming together. So here we have an afterword as an epilogue. So a catalog and an epilogue. That's sort of fun. And a lunkhead could be an oaf. That person's a real oaf, a real lunkhead. And to manage could be to fare. I managed fairly well. I fared well. And I want this lingerie fabric to have COT at the end. That just sounds right to me, even though I infuriatingly can't think of the whole fabric name. And what would that be? That would be ick for gag line. Okay, actually, yeah, that seems plausible. Maybe that's the gag as in ick, that's disgusting. I'm gagging on this food that I despise. And opposite of a glut would be a dearth. Tricot or trico. And then a dearth would be a deficit of something, as opposed to a glut, which would be a surfeit of that thing. So a post-default event, a tax sale, I suppose. Supposed to cover one's dues. And rapper blank cootie or DJ blank loco, kid cutie or DJ kid loco, I would think. And what is this? This looks like I should be able to get it. Oh! Okay, I get it now. Start as some conventional wisdom is when in Rome. I was really looking for this to be a generic phrase that could be, that was something like, I don't know. Well, now I can't think of any examples. But anyway, the point is, this is not a generic phrase that's used to append to any conventional wisdom. It is itself the wisdom, which is when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Ah, boy, that was really eluded me for quite some time. Anyway, what is this? Capital of Bangladesh, Dhaka, and driving stick, question mark, driving stick. Game show invitation. Come on down? Does that fit? It does fit. Driving stick, what is this? Does it mean driving a herd? And like discriminatory employers often. Is Dhaka wrong? Like discriminatory employers often. And subject line heading. I feel as though I'm suddenly going completely blank and I can't think of any answers to anything. Clap back, anago on a sushi menu, 1997 pop hit with a nonsensical refrain. Yes, indeedy, and so forth. Well, that's etc. Okay, so I could probably get some of these. Yes, indeedy. Could end in it. Yes, indeedy. Or could end in that. Westernmost school, right. I thought this maybe was Utah. Not sure. UTEP, I think, is a school, or maybe Texas. 1997 pop hit with a nonsensical refrain. Oh. Yeah, this could be UTEP, and this could be Mbop. Boy, I haven't thought about that in quite a long time. Got out, so that was what, Hanson, I think, that band comprised of brothers. Got out fast. I almost said band of brothers, and then I realized that was an illusion I didn't mean to make, so I had to say a much more awkward thing, which was a band comprised of brothers. Got out fast. Zoomed, maybe? Yes, indeed. Yeah, that doesn't look right. What is this? I haven't seen this yet. Modern lead-in to X. Modern lead-in to X. Modern lead-in. What does that mean? I'm not sure. And here we have, it's nothing to joke about. Something matter, a serious matter. ATT. That wouldn't work here. Subject line. Oh, no, actually it would. It would. I saw this TN and I thought, well, that doesn't look plausible. But then I looked at the cross and it's attention, subject line heading, abbreviated form of attention in a subject line. Okay, that does look good. What was this? Rendezvous. Oh, I didn't see this yet. Rendezvous could be a meet up. Driving stick. Oh, I was right about dacha, and indeed I was right about this driving a herd, a prod, as in a cattle prod. So you drive a herd of cattle with a cattle prod, perhaps. And like discriminatory employers often, sued. They are sued for discrimination. Okay. And married mujeres, señoras, SRAs, and clapback, a retort, a clapback, a retort. There we go. And anago on a sushi menu must be sea eel. Got out fast, bolted, of course. The horse bolted. The horse got out fast. Oh, modern lead into X, Uber X. Okay, I'm not at all surprised. I didn't immediately jump to that at all, but I do recognize that service name, Uber X. And yes, indeedy, O's, you bet. Okay, I probably could have gotten that one earlier, but I didn't. It's nothing to joke about. Okay, so it does indeed end with matter, but why do I not see what the answer is? Weighty matter? Oops, GHT? Maybe? Does that work here? Neighbor of South Sudan, Ethiopia, and cause of a jolt could be a scare? Really busy, perhaps. And disseminated. Maybe it is sent, after all. Artist known for his lampooning cartooning. Oh, maybe this isn't sent. This could be Nast, Thomas Nast. And this could be, aromatic herbal drink could be anise tea, as in star anise, the spice. So really busy, perhaps. And what is this? This does look like weighty matter, doesn't it? Disseminated. Oh, sown, as in sow information or disinformation, I suppose. And really busy perhaps is ornate. Really busy, visually very busy. Something is ornately decorated. It's very busy. And then that makes kind of writing creative writing. Oh, interesting. Wow, what a funny last thing to see. I get it now. Start in place is not get-go. It's even more informal. It's get-go. Sort of sort of a southern U.S. dialect version of this phrase. And we're clued into that by the contraction of starting place to start in place. There we go. And then that makes the kind of writing creative writing. Oh, I didn't finish sorry, I thought I was finishing the puzzle, but I completely forgot about an entire region over here. And I don't even think I've looked at it yet. Look at this. Boise to Spokane direction would be Boise, Idaho to Spokane, Washington, I suppose. North by northwest, I would imagine. Didn't act rashly, say. Waited, I suppose. And here we have, that's the spot. Ah, that's the spot. Often when we have a quoted clue, we will similarly get a verbal answer. In other words, it would be another thing you could say in that situation. And actually, we have two of them consecutively. Eureka quoted to I get it now, and that's the spot to ah. Okay, German state that includes Frankfurt. I feel I'm disappointed in myself for not knowing this answer. That's very frustrating. Red accessory for Cartoondom's Huckleberry Hound. I don't know, bow tie, I guess? It fits in here. Small section of a pit. And bowl-shaped cooking vessels. Woks, I suppose, are bowl-shaped pans. Crow's nests, e.g., are lookouts on a ship. Oh, is this Hesse? It's kind of what I thought it was, but I didn't want to say it because I was worried about getting it wrong. It's a funny thing about solving this online. Start of a story in journalese is a lead. One of these funny bits of journalese which are intentionally misspelled, or I suppose not misspelled because they are now part of the lexicon in their own right, but they're derived from misspellings of common words like lead, L-E-A-D, the lead sentence, the lead idea of a story. And there are other such journalistic terms like graph, and I don't remember all of them, but there are quite a few. I used to know them when I was a journalist. Now I can't remember. What's got you covered is wool. Covers literally a ewe, a female sheep. Blights are eyesores. Small section of a pit. Oboes. So an orchestra pit in this case. A small section. In other words, a section with relatively few players. You have a few oboe players in an orchestra pit. And this looks like, I don't know if this is pronounced, I think this might be pronounced deplain. A number of French-derived American city names, and they tend to be pronounced in a variety of different ways that are just the result of sort of local sort of evolution to the pronunciation over time, and I don't ever remember which are pronounced which way. I guess in French it would be pronounced deplain, but I don't know. Deplain or deplain, I'm not sure. Anyway, Spanish hay would be oye. And there we go, there's the puzzle. So that took quite a while, actually. Wow, just about 44 minutes. Although, I suppose, closer to 40 minutes if you take into account my accidental sabotage of my timer today. So there we have it. Boy, these Sunday puzzles, they just take ages, don't they? Fun theme. I enjoy the ambitious, multi-staged nature of this theme. I really enjoyed, and I enjoyed my own journey along it, because seeing jazz, I thought, okay, I mean, one of my favorite things I think that's happened to me in the deconstruction of any theme I've encountered in recent memory is my misconception about what was going on with jazz. When I solved jazz, got my first letter J in the next theme answer, and assumed I was going to, that the J was the actual important part. I can't believe I mean, that's got to be an incredibly unlikely way for this to have gone. But I'm very glad it happened to me, because I really enjoyed the sense of whiplash upon realizing I was completely wrong. I did not get it now initially when I saw that J and assumed it was the relevant part. Anyway, so we determined that these are apples, and then we get through our 5 varieties of apples, and then we learn that it all culminates in Newton. But indeed, it doesn't just culminate in the apples falling on Newton. It actually culminates in the result of the apples falling on Newton's head, which is his formulation of the law of gravity. And so that's I really like this multi-stage theme. I think it's fun. It's quite clever. I don't know if this circular pattern in the grid is meant to evoke an apple. Not really sure. Hard to say. But there is something circular going on in the grid. So perhaps, at least in a general sense, that's what we're meant to understand. Or maybe some sort of gravitational field. Maybe it's slightly abstract and it's meant to evoke any of these things. Who knows? Anyway, I really enjoyed this puzzle. Let me know if you did. This was, I think, well done, Timothy Pollen. I liked your multi-staged theme. And hope you enjoyed the video as well. If you did, please do subscribe to the channel. I very much appreciate both people subscribing, people spreading the word if they enjoy the video, and also people showing up in the Discord chat server has been fun. As I mentioned, you can get an extra channel if you're a member of the Patreon, if you're a patron of the Patreon campaign. But even if you're not, you can show up in the Discord chat server anyway and access all the rest of the channels, all but that one. And as I mentioned the other day, there's been a Wordle channel that's set up for people to post their attractive little Wordle patterns. And why don't I solve today's Wordle? Why not? I'll do that. I'll just do that today. I can't remember if I've solved yesterday's. No, or not. No, I think I did. I solved yesterday's puzzle. So anyway, let's just do it quickly. I'm in a good mood because I really enjoyed that theme. So let's keep this video going for another minute or two. Okay. Maybe I'll grab a word or 5-letter word from today's crossword and use that to kick off the puzzle. Why don't I do that? The first thing I saw was adage, but I don't want to use a word with a repeated letter. What about Omani? That doesn't have a repeated letter. Let's use that. Oh, not in word list. Fair enough. It's a proper noun. What else can I grab? I guess snake. Wow. Okay, well, at least the E is in the correct position. So we could say, chime, maybe? Wow. Striking out here. What other vowels remain? O. So I could say trope, maybe? Okay. Orate? No. The A has already been ruled out. Roble? Okay, well, at least the O is in the correct position now. So there are only 2 positions remaining for the R. What else can we put in here? G, we haven't used that yet. Gorge? Ah, there we go, repeated G. Yeah, okay. Well, there we have it. There was my Wordle. Anyway, you can share your Wordle results with others in the Wordle channel on the Discord chat server. Head over there if that interests you, but also discussions about all sorts of, about the New York Times puzzle each day. There's a thread about that in the New York Times Crossword channel over on the Discord. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. I will take my leave now. Hopefully return tomorrow for the much quicker, much easier Monday solve, the gentlest puzzle of the week to ease us into our Monday morning. I hope you come back for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Sunday. Take care.